Someone was asking earlier, I know you probably don't like, or you probably get asked this question all the time. They want to hear about the WrestleMania 9, the Doink switch, how you becoming Doink kind of happened. And I know we're kind of running over time here, so I'm not going to keep you too much longer.
Okay, it's WrestleMania 9. It was the first outdoor WrestleMania at Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas. In those days, Vince was taking advice from the talent. Vince wasn't a dominating dictator. He was taking advice because we had all been around. We'd all done things. And he had asked for guys, hey, if you have any ideas of something you did in territories or whatever, let me know. And if we can incorporate it, it might be some opportunity for you. Well, I got to the point when I was doing Skinner, I had a big intro in as Skinner, the character, with vignettes. I had, pretty good push at the very beginning. And then it just kind of planed out and they stopped utilizing the character and they beat him and they didn't do much with him and they held him back and said, okay, well, do I just accept what's happened or do I create my own opportunity? And Matt Bourne was doing Doink. And Matt and I were close friends and we were about the same size. He was left-handed, I was right-handed, but he was actually 20 pounds heavier than me when I was Skinner, so I had to fatten up to get up to Matt's size. But I went to Vince, and I gave Vince several ideas, and this just happened to be one. And I said to Vince, I said, I got an idea. I said, I think that I can hide under that ring for at least 5 hours. So if you put me in there a couple hours before the show and it runs 3 hours, I think I could stay under there and survive. What do you think if I was to shave off the Skinner beard, cut my hair, or put it up in a ponytail and put on that Doink suit and paint my face and put me under that ring? And at the right time, I come out as a second Doink, especially in Las Vegas with all the magic and that kind of stuff. Yeah. And he looked at me when I gave him the idea and he said, hey, what is wrong with you? You've been chewing licorice now for a couple years and you've been doing a Skinner thing. And he says, now you want to be a clown? I said, well, I see that it would be a cool thing if there's two clowns and you never know which clown it is. And then plus if one clown hides and comes out, I just see it as being entertaining. And he says, yeah, well, I don't see it that way. So he blew me off. He just told me no. And then we get to WrestleMania. I'm in my room, and I didn't have a match. I'm there with my family, but we're doing sightseeing. And he calls my room and leaves a message for me. I call him, and he said, come up. I want to talk to you. And so I thought he was going to fire me. I thought, uh-oh, here we go. I'm not in WrestleMania. He ain't been doing anything with me. He's going to can me. So I was accepting the fact that I was probably going to get my notice. I went up there and he said, hey, you remember that idea you gave me? And I said, which one? And he said, the idea of you being a second Doink. And I said, yeah. He said, well, we're going to do that. Tomorrow morning, I want you to go to makeup 2 hours before the show. They're going to shave you. They're going to paint your face. We're going to put the costume on you. We're going to put a jumpsuit that says ring crew on, towel over your head. While the ring's putting the ring together, when it gets to a certain level, we're going to throw you under the ring. I'll put a monitor under there and a headset so you'll know what's going on and you can watch the show. We'll give you some water and a bucket to pee in if you have to. And he said, when the time's right, this is what you want you to do. And it was, whatever happened in the match, people saw it. So anyway, I went for it. And then when I went back under the ring to hide again, they threw a tarp over me. So when I laid flat, as I went under the ring, the crew guy threw a tarp over me because if they came back with a camera to look under the ring to see where I went as the second clown, and they couldn't see me. They showed the bottom of the ring, but I was laying under a tarp there, so they kind of disguised me. But Maurice, if I was ever going to make a mistake in wrestling, that was the biggest.
Really?
That was the biggest mistake I could have made because I went from an easy job of when the bell rang, I was on the floor rolling around, grabbed the mouthful of water and walked through the curtain to an hour painting my face, which I'm not an artist, and being prepared to get into the match, and then going out there and being a freaking clown. And I thought it was a brilliant idea until I woke up and realized I'm freaking Doink.
Yeah.
Oh, no. And then it got worse. My kids were in school here in Tampa. My son, when I was Skinner, the kids thought that was cool. They thought, man, your dad's a bad guy, but he is cool. We even did, me and Macho Man went to my son's third grade class for Bring Your Dad to School Day. And we went in full costume and did career day for 33rd graders, my kid. And so we were over and he was over. Now, when I flipped and did Doink, and he had to tell his friends, oh, my dad's Doink. Oh, your dad's a clown? Oh, man. And then they were calling my kid Doink. And I mean, you know, he didn't like that too much. And it was almost like a curse. And this is where it really gets worse. People will ask me sometimes at autograph signings, and they'll say, well, who were you? I said, I was Steve Keirn. Never heard of him. I was one of the fabulous ones. Never heard of him. I was Skinner. Never heard of him. I was Doink the Clown. I know you. And the only identification I had was about a 3-month run as a clown.
Oh, my God.